fact, our top story here, on to the point. The showdown over the Waqf JPC report when it was tabled in Parliament. I'll open this up to our panelists joining us this evening. We've got Dr. Shama Mohammed, National Spokesperson of the Congress, Guru Prakash Paswan, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Good evening to both of you. Dr. Shama Mohammed, I'll begin with you on your opening comments on this entire controversy. At this point, the Congress did raise the fact that they said dissent notes were not part of the report. The BJP, the government clarified on that, and yet we saw a showdown in Lok Sabha. So I want to understand from you, what really is the Congress's objection now?
The Congress's objection is that the Bharatiya Janata Party has no understanding of what a joint parliamentary committee or a standing committee is. I mean, here, a report goes to a committee, is to everybody to sit together. There are issues, there are dissents, and they have to take in the dissent and then see what our dissent note is and make changes accordingly, all right, in which both of them agree, or everybody over there in the committee agrees. Now, this is all about just the Bharatiya Janata Party and the government of the day. There is the number of dissent by our members of parliament, whether it's Javed ji, whether it's Nasir Bhai. So none of them was taken. They just took the dissent note of ours and just put it into the wastebasket and said, you know what, we cannot look into it. Now, I'll give you an example. There are so initially, when there's a non-Muslim, it was a minister. Now they've said that has to be 2 non-Muslims in part of this board. And also they say that if there is a judge or any other member coming in, they can be non-Muslims. Number 2, the state Waqf board hardly has any more powers now. What they did is, before there used to be something called the Survey Commissioner of the Waqf Board, which is the one who, looks into how the property has to be divided or where the property has to go. Instead of that, they've got the collector, the district collector. Now, why should the district collector come in? Something which is according to a Muslim thing, Waqf is zakat or charity. So why is the collector there? Again, the government wants to control this. Now, if you're going to have non-Muslims here, we have no issues. Put non-Muslims in the Hindu board, in the Sikh board, everywhere else. You can't come in and just change things all one fine day. So what we see is the central government taking over control on how to move about the Waqf property, who should get it, how should it be used,
So the issues you've raised, Dr. Shama Mohammed, is something I let Mr. Paswan respond to. But as far as this report goes, this was a report that was adopted by the committee with a 15-11 majority vote, which is the norm. That's how things work. You get this kind of a vote and then it moves forward. It's introduced in Parliament as such.
Yeah, but who is are you asking me?
No, that's to you, Dr. Shama.
Yeah, but they have the majority. Of course, you get the vote, isn't it? You don't take, that is what is the problem. The problem is they do not want to go according to the constitution and democratic principles of a democracy. Everything is bulldozed. That is the basic issue. Everything is against the minorities. I fail to understand why are Article 15, Article 16, why do you violate these? That is the question today. I have just pointed out 2 parts. There are many others in the dissent.
Let me give Mr. Paswan a chance to respond to what you've questioned here. Mr. Paswan, your response. Shama Mohammed pointing several issues that the Congress has with, in fact, this amendment, saying essentially it looks like the government is trying to control Waqf completely.
Akshita, a very warm good evening to you and my fellow panelists. At the very outset, let me make it very clear that we don't need any certificate from the Congress party when it comes to parliamentary practices or joint parliamentary committee for a party that has scored double hat-trick in Delhi, repeatedly in Lok Sabha
election. Get to the point.
That has no locus tenure to speak on this.
Dr. Shama Mohammed, let him speak, please. I gave you time. Dr. Shama Mohammed, please, I gave you time to speak. Let Mr. Paswan speak. We don't like interruptions here. We don't like interruptions here. I'm sorry, I'll have to put your fader down. Mr. Paswan, go ahead.
Akshita, 112 hours of deliberation, 284 stakeholders meeting, 38 meetings, 25 state Waqf boards on board, 93 lakh emails, 5 lakh physical representation, gender equality, transparency. The total report is of 421 pages, out of which, madam, listen to me very carefully, 281 for the first time in the history of our parliamentary politics. 281 is annexure and it includes your dissent note. Let this lie come. Let this hypocrisy of the Congress party come in front of the entire country. Akshita, we must understand that the evidence of record has 2,775 pages. All this data which I am quoting is in the public domain. The hypocrisy, the dual standard of the Congress party must come out. Point number one. Point number two, you have to understand, Akshita, this is the Shah Bano movement. This is exactly the Shah Bano movement of 21st century. We still remember in 1985 when Muslim women were being empowered by the Supreme Court. It was the Congress-led government that ensured that they are not given the maintenance. Who was back in power then? It is the Bharatiya Janata Party that has ensured the inclusion of poor Muslims, pasmandas, women. For the first time there would be gender equality. For the first time there would be a structure given to the Waqf Tribunal. We have to understand you are the third largest owner of the land. 960,000 acres of land cannot be left like this. It has to come under the supervision of the government.
The charge from the Congress is that the government now is fully controlling Waqf. And if you're talking about non-Muslims being a part of the Waqf, why don't we talk about, in a Gurudwara board, non-Sikhs being a part of it, similarly for a temple board, non-Hindus being a part of it?
Akshita, I'm glad you asked this question and let me give you a contextual answer. We are celebrating Mahakumbh. We saw about 40 crore people have already taken dip in Mahakumbh. You would very well remember the last Kumbh that happened in Prayagraj. Who was the chairman of the governing board? It was a Muslim. Did we have any objection to it? It was Mr. Azam Khan who was orchestrating the leadership of one of the largest gathering of the humankind. Did we have any objection to it? We are secular country and this is the time the Congress party has to give an example of secularism, not to stand by this neo-feudal where you don't allow poor Muslims, where you don't allow Muslim women to come as a stakeholder. The Bharatiya Janata Party has ensured that the stakeholder is given. The stakeholdership has gone beyond. This joint parliamentary committee, last 10 seconds Akshita, this joint parliamentary committee has gone to 10 states, including Congress-ruled Karnataka, including Congress-ruled Telangana. There have been deep stakeholder consultation. What the Congress party is doing on the floor of the House of the Parliament today is just perpetuating the rights of the neo-feudal landlords. The neo-feudal landlords of the Muslim community. That is not going to happen. I am sorry. It is there for everyone. The third largest owners of the land in the country. It has to come in the public domain. It has to come under the purview of the district administration. No matter what happens. Women will come. Pasmandas will come. Poor people will come. No force in the world can stop that.
Okay, all right. Let me bring in Dr. Shama Mohammed. We have Mr. Deshratan also with us. But before that, I'll give Shama a chance to respond. Dr. Shama Mohammed, go ahead. Now, what the BJP is saying here is that, look, the dissent note was a part of it. Home Minister Amit Shah in the Lok Sabha said that whatever objections the opposition has, we're willing to take that on board and add it to the report.
Yeah, but that is what they're not doing. And he kept, when I asked you why there are not non-Muslims in the other boards, he did not give you a direct answer. He speaks about the Mahakumbh. I mean, that is not an answer. When I asked why is I didn't interrupt.
No, he gave an example of what happened at the Kumbh. He's given the Kumbh example. The question here, Dr. Shama Mohammed, is, look, I'm sure the Congress also recognizes that the Waqf board is one of the largest landowners of the country. You've got the defense, the railway board, and then you have Waqf with 8 lakh acres of land in this country. Do you feel that there is a need for reform of the bill or not?
No, I'm not going to answer to somebody who does not allow me to talk. You do not interrupt him. I want to finish my answer. He does not answer. Now, you said head of Mahakumbh. Is that the answer to be into a board? That is just a... Listen, this is not done, or I'm leaving the debate. He should not...
No, please go ahead. Go ahead. Mr. Paswan, please stop. Dr. Sharma, go ahead.
My question is that Mahakumbh comes, once in 12 years. We are not talking about that. All right. Kumbh comes once in 12 years and Mahakumbh 144 years. I'm talking about something which is there. So let them also put Muslims into the Sikh board, into the board of the Hindus, a temple, everything one. He did not answer why the collector is there.
Wait, please,
when
Mr.
you can get the commissioner. Number three, he was abusing the Congress party. Let me tell you, I do not want to answer to a chief prime minister's party who keeps saying, "Behas leke Congress party, behas leke Musalmano."
No, wait, Mr. Paswan, please wait. Please stop interjecting. Let Dr. Shama Mohammed finish, please.
I will abuse his party. Congress party behas leke Musalmano ko dete. When Congress party uska Mangal Sutra leke Musalmano ko dete. To that man I should answer? You tell me that? Is that a prime minister of a country should supposed to speak?
Okay. No, so then Dr. Shama Mohammed, answer my question. What is the Congress's stand about the fact that Waqf is one of the biggest landowners of this country, that they own 8 lakh acres? Do you think that's okay? Do you believe that there is a need for reform?
No, what the Congress saying, we are ready for reform, but you have to take in our dissent note. You're not ready for any of that. You have what the Bharatiya Janata Party has put it, and they put out a big note out today, and we also need time to read it, but they just want to pass it. So why are they? My only question is, not only the Congress, don't say Congress, it's the opposition. Every opposition party has come, including the Samajwadi, including the TMC. And what we are saying is, why don't you take those points, the dissent note, and add to it, and then pass the bill? You're not ready for that. So you just want your people, your whatever you want to do, take control of the Waqf. We don't want anybody else to take control. We want it to happen together.
So you're saying these reforms are being bulldozed, that opposition parties are not being brought on board. Let me bring in Mr. Deshratan Nigam before I bring in Mr. Paswan. Mr. Deshratan Nigam, what do you make of all the politics over this? Do you think that this issue is something that perhaps the government could have gone through differently, or do you think there's needless politics right now being played? Mr. Nigam, can you unmute yourself, please?
Well, Akshita, in fact, those who want to do politics will certainly do politics. But let me point out one by one. When one talks of dissent note not being part of the committee report, the ones which cast aspersions on the members of the committee, those aspects have been deleted. And as this is as per rule, if you talk on merits, they can be included. There is no point about it. Now, second question was raised why there are no Muslims in the temple. First, let me tell you, Indian temples are under the control of the government through endowment trust of various state governments. And if the Muslims want the mosques also to be controlled, they must ask for a similar law. Secondly, this particular bill which is being presented, it's about land grabbing, preventing land grabbing, gender equality, and primacy of civil court in a democracy. And when we talk of temple boards or management committees, all these three questions do not exist out there. There is no land grabbing. There is no gender discrimination out there. We have women pujaris also. And there is a primacy of civil courts. All these aspects exist in the temple boards. They are within the jurisdiction of the civil courts. And thirdly, let me tell you, it is 9.4 lakh acres now. It's not about 8 point some lakh acres. And the primary examples you do from Tamil Nadu, where more than 1500 years old, Sundareshwara temple in Tamil Nadu was claimed to be Waqf board. When somebody went to sell property, he was prevented. Bet Dwarka was being claimed by Waqf. Then Surat Municipal Corporation building was claimed by Waqf. I can give you numerous examples.
There's a long list of that,
Court had to intervene to overturn all that. And somebody who says that bill should not be presented in a parliament, we have a parliamentary democracy, discuss it in the parliament.
No, so, the question here, and closing comments quickly, Mr. Paswan, the question here that the Congress is asking is whether this has been done democratically. They're saying that you're attempting to bulldoze these reforms. Quickly, sir, I have very little time.
Akshita, I gave you the data that was presented in the public domain. We have had 38 meetings. We have had lakhs of emails, lakhs of physical representation. So this concern doesn't arise. We have to understand that similarly what happened in Article 370, what happened in the abolition of triple talaq, the Congress party again is siding with the fundamentalist forces. The Congress party again is siding with the classist forces. They want the Waqf board to be controlled in the hands of few ultra-rich Muslims who are obviously anti-women, who are obviously anti-gender justice, who are obviously anti-transparency. This reform is about structure, and the government of the day has ensured the stakeholder consultation with everyone. Like I said, 25 stake Waqf board has been taken on board. We have taken all
everyone
the
on board.
Out of 421
everyone on board. You're saying all stakeholders have been consulted. Dr. Shama Mohammed, one final question to you, and we have less than 10 seconds. Do we at least agree on the fact that women should be a part of the Waqf board? Is there at least one point of the amendment that you agree with?
So I want to say that he said there are 38 meetings have happened. He's not been able to answer my question. 2 questions I asked him today. He did not give me answers to that. If there are 38 meetings, why can't you? Another thing is they want to get rid of the Central Waqf Council. When you get rid of the Central Waqf Council, it is going to be scattered the Waqf properties. It's going to be very difficult to see what is happening. We need the Central Waqf Council, very important. And of course, women have to be a part. I'm always for gender justice.
Okay, I'm glad. We'll end it on that. We'll end it on that. That at least we've got consensus on a couple of points on these reforms.
To answer my questions. Very bad.
Okay, we have run out of time. We've run out of time. Mr. Guru Prakash Paswan, Dr. Shama Mohammed, and Mr. Deshratan Nigam. This will continue to go on, but thank you very much for joining us here on To The Point. We are going to, of course, see a lot more debate over the issue of this Waqf reform. The government making it very clear that they want to push forward with this particular legislation. That's all we have time for in this edition of To The Point. Thanks very much for tuning in.